Hey guys, so today I want to go over some of the variations to train for self-defense using empty hands. Alright, so today we're going to talk about using the empty hand for self-defense, right? Now, this is very specific using for the beginners, okay? So we can talk about you can strike with the fist, strike with the palm, strike with the back fist, or strike with the hammer fist, right? There's a lot of variation you can train, but for me specifically, when I talk about self-defense, I much prefer using open palm versus the fist, right? Because not everybody has the time to train every single day to condition your knuckle, right? And you gotta think about this, right? If I actually do make an impact anywhere on the sharper bones with my fist like this, it actually really hurts, right? And not even thinking about like, let's say we're teaching female self-defense or self-defense for the kids, right? Sometimes we just don't have the strength to actually penetrate through with a punch like that, right? So there's two things I want to talk about. Number one is how to appropriate and safely train to strike with a palm. Number two, how to develop your power safely, right? So let's look at the stance real quick, okay? In the self-defense situation, right, you should never drop your hand like this, right? If any sort of like threat comes towards you, the first thing you want to do is you start out square, your hand stays up. The moment the guy supports towards you, you'll notice my body, I took a step back, right? So this is very similar to like your stance in like either Muay Thai or boxing, right? What I don't want to do is just do this and close my eyes and hopefully that when I look away, he'll be gone, right? This is not a magical world. So when he does a push to me, I want to keep my hands up. My palm will be facing forward towards him, right? So the first step is I don't want to step forward, but rather, because if I step just forward like that, I'm actually meeting into him, right? I want to first create that space between my body and his body. So the moment Mike comes in, I want to create that first instinct, which is my stance, my hands, right? I want to show him that, hey, I don't want trouble. But if you do come any closer, I want to take the action. Either I'm striking, elbow, knee, or kick, right? So that's the first step, which is your posture, right? If you look at my stance, right, I don't just step back with my rear foot flat like this. What I want to do is, the moment I step back, I want to stay on the tip of my toes like that. This is going to help me to push my body forward to either strike or maybe to elbow or maybe to knee. So that rear foot is very, very important. So let's do this again from the front view, okay? So the moment I step back, hands up, I'm going to get ready with my body so that way I can use my body to strike, okay? That's the first thing. Number two, when I strike, this is the same method I teach with jab or cross. When I jab, this hand's gonna drive forward at the same time I rotate my hip. You notice my body, I don't just punch like this, right? This is using upper body strength. So rather what I want to do is I want to rotate my hip. At the same time, my elbow's gonna drive right through and then I'm gonna strike like that. This is how I do my jab, right? The support hand should always be covered on the opposite side of your face. You should never punch like this. One is, this is something that you don't want to do. You don't want to drive your hand backwards and then toss your hand forward, right? This is a lot of telegraphing motion. And two, if I happen to do this, right, even if I land, it may not be powerful enough, or he might see this coming miles away, right? So when I punch, I just rotate my hip and let my body go right through. That's the first thing we should train. So on the front view, when I strike, it should look like this. But for self-defense, I'm going to open my palm so you actually look like that. You'll notice my finger, I don't actually pull my finger up like that, because if I do strike him anywhere on the face, sometimes with the fingers, I might jam them backwards. So for safety reasons, I turn my palm to the side. So that way I can strike with the palm, that's what to connect to my elbow. At the same time, I'm gonna hit him directly to the head, the nose, the chin, or the side of his face, right? So that's how I do the jab, but sort of with the open palm strike. So again, from here, from the striking position, when my body's here, I'm just gonna rotate my body. Remember, with the opposite end cover your face, my palm goes forward. That's gonna be my jab. And when I strike, I'm gonna use my cross, so my hand, rotate your palm. And then your hands gonna drive right through. You'll notice with my rear foot, this one's gonna rotate. Notice my heel's gonna stay up, not this. If I just do this, I'm actually just pushing with my upper body, right? You're gonna lose a lot of momentum and structure. So instead, when I drive forward, I wanna do this. Nice rotation and really let your body push forward, right? But don't let your body lean on the side like this, right? This is something that you don't want to do. You want to create a motion with everything going straight forward. This hand can either be a fist, cover your face, or what I prefer is a palm that cover your head like that. You see it? Just like this, okay? So what I want to do is have my partner grab focus mitts, because just like every martial arts, You can't train with just looking through stuff, right? You want to actually practice. So that way your body is registering all the motions and understand the mechanics to strike and deliver the power, right? So with the first blow, right? Remember, you should never strike on the same side. So almost I want to give him a high five on the left hand, like that. This is what I want. I want the hand sort of cross the center line. So the first strike is my hand is here. Just learn how to develop power. So the first hand, you want to strike like that. You notice how my palm is making a contact. Rather than my finger that's going to make the contact. You're going to use the palm, strike like that. Okay, that's going to be a jab, okay? Same thing to the rear hand. When I turn my body, that's going to be my cross. You notice how my hand rotates like that. But however, if I just pop like that, even with a focusman, there's very likely a chance that I might break my finger because it's not bent backwards, okay? So when I strike with a cross, I'm going to turn my palm at the angle like this. You can do a 45 degrees or you can do a sideward like that. Either way is okay, okay? So one more time. So practice your lead hand punch like that or rear hand strike, right? Now you can practice with the lead hand strike into a rear hand strike. So that's going to be 2 shots like that. You notice how my hand, my body's going to turn. As soon as I turn, my shoulder covers the line and you're going to strike. As you strike, rotate your body all the way through like that, okay? And this is very useful inside a very narrow range, right? Because sometimes if I do an overhand with a hook, the hand tend to go like this on the street, right? Anytime I do this, I'm gonna waste a lot of motions and I'm waste a lot of the mechanic. So I wanna do a faster strike, and it's gonna be a lead hand jab and a rear hand strike. Then from there, you can choose your option. You can go into elbows or knees, right? But today we're gonna emphasize on the striking on a straight fist, right? So one more time. This is the lead hand punch, the rear punch, just like that, okay? So I'm gonna switch your angle real quick. So first hand first. First thing first, remember, create a nice posture with both hands up. First hand strike, it's gonna be lead hand, turn the body. Notice my hip is gonna be aligned towards the center. This is no difference when you strike with a jab like that, right? So just replace that with the palm. Same thing with the rear hand. When I punch right through, you notice how my hand is doing this. This is my body. I don't wanna just doing this. I wanna let my body go all the way through so that way the mechanics goes from the wrist, shoulder, into the elbow like that. This is everything in a straight line, right? So now, third variation, right? If you got the first 2 shots like that, the second thing I like to teach a lot of times is gonna be the elbow, right? Because if the aggressor does come closer to me like that, the first thing you can do is gonna be the elbow. What I like to teach, even though in Muay Thai we have a horizontal, diagonal, I like to teach the vertical elbow first. Because think about this, right? For the horizontal elbow, I do have to travel around the hand like that, right? But with the vertical elbow, all I need to do is step forward and spike up like that. This is a lot faster because once my hand is here, all you have to do is just let this hand come straight up, right? You don't have to worry about like creating the best form, right? Because in Muay Thai, we do ask people to do this, right? You want the hand to come all the way up. But for self-defense, even this to a clip to the chin, that's powerful enough, right? So for me, it's about training, slap the hand, bam, notice how my body just step in like that. And you want to think about this hand that drive right through. Your elbow wants to point upwards, but not this, okay? So drive your body all the way through. That's gonna be elbow. So one more time. The front angle, elbow 1 or elbow 2. As you strike with the elbow, you're gonna let this palm turn towards you and then elbow point straight forward. Sometimes the guys will reach the back of the neck, right? So you can do this, or you can just do this. The hands up like that, okay? Don't do this, okay? You don't want this. You want the elbow point like this. So your palm's facing on the side. So strike up or strike up, okay? Now to practice this, you can have the guy just aim for the pad like this. Do not put the pad in front of your face because you might accidentally hit your partner. So first elbow, I step forward. That's the first strike with the elbow on the right side. If it's on the left side, he'll put the opposite hand up. My hands forward and strike up with the left. So you can do a left hand elbow or a right elbow. Notice my body don't do this, right? Because the range is gonna be off. So I take a step forward, strike with the elbow 1 or strike with the elbow 2 like that. If you want to be a little more protective on the head, then you want to think about cover like this. Same thing. This will be a whole entire coverage on the whole entire body. You'll notice I'm doing this and this, right? So that way you get a nice tight and secure, okay? So that's gonna be 3 basic strikes that I like to teach. With first, it's gonna be a lead hand palm strike, and you step forward like that, you have the lead hand elbow, right?
And of course, once you get more advanced and more comfortable, you can talk about strike, strike, grab. You can elbow, you can knee, right? There's a lot of variation you can go through. But I think for the beginner to practice, you want to think about controlling the space using the palm strike, stepping with the elbow when the opponent gets, when the aggressor gets too close, right? These are two things that you want to master first. Then the second thing, starting with the elbow, then you can worry about every other technique, okay? So, and like I said, you want to make sure you're training this so that your body is getting used to the technique so that you can develop the sensitivity and the motion, right? If you don't train this, even just do this in the air, right? If you don't have a partner, even just doing this in the air, right? This is still helping, right? But don't just, look at it. Sometimes you look at a video and look at stuff, you forget to train, then your body's not gonna register, okay? All right, so if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. I hope you guys like the video. I'll see you guys next week.